Guy's down there trying to launch balls at me. You want to have a little rodeo, bud? I still got my dinosaur driver here. We can get down. Whether you're one of those people, I don't want to say the word hooker, but whether you're one of those people that overdraws the golf ball or has a big banana slice or just has a miss that is much too wide for you to be able to play reasonable golf, then pay close attention to today's video, because we are going to talk about how to get you into a very good delivery position that has the club face ready to rock and roll. People that play this game at the highest level are very good about managing the face angle. Club face is your king or your queen of the castle. And I know a lot of you have heard me say that way too many times. But what you have to remember is when it comes down to the game of golf, is we're always trying to help you manage your misses. We want to make your misses as small as we possibly can. In fact, we've heard Tiger Woods say that very thing at the end of a golf tournament, is that the people that are out there winning are the ones that are putting the best and the ones that are missing it the smallest. Aside from the fact that playing professionals manage the club so well from here to here, is that they are very good about squaring the face early. They have the club face moving down and through the point of contact, not at this really accelerated rate of closure and not at this really sluggish rate of closure to where the ball is going to slice off to right field. So before I start showing you what I want your wrist and your forearm to start doing from the top of the swing, what I want you to look at is the position that you're going to be trying to achieve on the way down. Now, you're not going to be stopping in this position. You're going to be looking at this position on camera to see if you're doing it correctly. When your hands get down in front of your trail thigh, what you want to look for is you want to look at the club, and you want to see that the club head is very much in line with your hands or slightly in behind it. You also want to see that the club face, if this were perfectly toed up to the sky and the club face were pointed out in front of me, you want to see that the club face is turned down ever so slightly. The face of the club should be looking in the direction of the golf ball. Not fully shut to where it's turned down at the ground, but just enough to where if the face were looking in the direction of the golf ball, you can see that it's ready for business now. That's the position that I want you to be able to see on camera to know if the stuff that we're doing earlier on in the swing is working out for you. If you start the process of squaring the club face early and it's in that position, now you don't have to give it these really quick inputs that are ultimately going to affect the loft, the rate of closure, all of the things that produce that big wide miss. So know that position before you start practicing it. Know what to look for. We are going to be talking about the flexion of the lead wrist. We're going to be talking about the bowing that you see Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson, Jon Rahm, all of those players do at the top of their golf swing. I also want you to try your best when you start to bow your wrist to rotate your wrist and your forearm or supinate it. This is going to be very hard for you to do, and let me explain that to you. If I go to the top of my golf swing, okay, and I take my lead wrist and I bow it, okay, what is that doing to the club face? Well, it should be shutting it, right? But what is that doing to the shaft plane? Well, it's flattening it, right? Now, I don't want the club shaft coming in way too flat. I need something to be able to help counterbalance it. That's where the wrist and forearm rotation would start to help you. So now if you start to rotate the wrist and the forearms as you're bowing that wrist down, now what you look like is that delivery position that we just talked about. Okay, so I wanted to switch you guys down the line so you could watch exactly how I would practice this sort of movement. Now, very important that you understand that the sequence of movements is going to play much bigger role than just learning this arm and wrist function. You don't want to go out there and have bad sequence and start yanking your arms down from the top. So if you have not yet seen the sequence video that I put up on the screen, please go watch that before you start down this pathway. Okay, now, what I would do when I first start out this movement is I would strip the club out. I want you to do this lead arm only. Now, some of you are very trail side dominant people. When you bring both hands back to the club and you're working as a system, the inputs that you're giving from your lead wrist that we're working on here today, you actually may feel it a little bit more in your trail wrist. You might feel something different that's starting to happen. You might feel something that's happening in your trail shoulder. Whatever it is, as long as it's getting you into that delivery position that we talked about at the front of the video, that's what we want. Everybody responds to this stuff differently. I've had many people say that they feel it more from their lead wrist. I've had many people say that they feel it all from their right side. But I want you to start out by doing the inputs from the lead, wrist, and forearm. We're gonna do a 2 to 2 to 2 ratio. We're gonna do 2 practice swings, lead arm only. We're gonna do 2 practice swings, drilling up to the top with both hands on it, stopping down at the bottom, and then we're gonna make 2 full swings, and then we're gonna hit a golf ball. So it's 2 practice reps, stopping with the lead arm, getting comfortable with the movements, 2 reps, stopping with both hands on the club, feeling the movements, and then 2 reps making full swings, and then reward yourself and hit a golf ball. Now, when you practice this stuff, it is very important to practice properly. Those movements that we're gonna do early on are to create awareness. So watch exactly how we're gonna handle business here. Okay, so we're gonna take our setup. I've got a 7-iron here today. I'm gonna have my lead arm hanging down freely. Okay, make a backswing. Make sure your lead wrist is flat. Okay, from here, you want your arm to feel like it's starting to come down off the shoulders. You wanna bow the wrist, and you wanna turn the forearm and stop with your hand down in front of your body. Check to make sure that the wrist still has a little bit of that bowing in it. Check to make sure that your glove logo is pointed out in front of you. You should feel pretty tension-free in your arm at this point, just enough to support it in this position. That's 1 rep. 2 reps. Bring the golf club back in. Now I'm gonna feel the same thing. Arms come down. Okay, check to make sure the club is in line with the hands and it is toed down ever so slightly. Okay, that's a good rep right there. Okay, good rep there. Now we're gonna make 2 practice swings without having a stopping point, trying to feel those same things. One. 2. Stay committed, hit a golf shot. So you're gonna keep repeating this process over and over and over. And what you're gonna find is, if you're checking this on camera and you're starting to see that position that we talked about on the way down, even though you're not seeing some large change at the top of the golf swing, you're giving it enough input to start the squaring process early, because I'd be willing to bet you're not seeing it as pronounced as I was when I was moving it slow. But you can see that I hit a very good golf shot there just by feeling the squaring of the face early and making sure that I got it into a position where I could play ball. So we're gonna do 1 more set. Okay. Good. Pretty good there. Let's start building a better golf swing. And for the love of God, if you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, please. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate it if you join the family here at MyGolfDNA. If you like this content, we got way more to come over the next year. Some really, really fun and exciting stuff. Welcome to the channel. Let's get out there and play our best golf that you possibly can. I'm excited to have you. Get to work.